Hi everyone. We are reading Screwtape's letters to Wormwood in C.S. Lewis's book, The Screwtape Letters. And right now he's giving him advice regarding sex and marriage. Here he says, "My dear Wormwood, the enemy's demand on humans takes the form of a dilemma, either complete abstinence or unmitigated monogamy. Ever since our father's first great victory, we have rendered the former very difficult to them. The latter, for the last few centuries, we have been closing up as a way of escape. We have done this through the poets and novelists by persuading the humans that a curious and unusually short-lived experience, which they call being in love, is the only respectable ground for marriage. That marriage can and ought to render this excitement permanent, and that a marriage which does not do so is no longer binding. Humans are to be encouraged to regard as the basis for marriage a highly colored and distorted version of something the enemy really promises as its result. Humans who have not the gift of countenance can be deterred from seeking marriage as a solution because they do not find themselves in love. And thanks to us, the idea of marrying with any other motive seems to them low and cynical. Yes, they think that. They regard the intention of loyalty to a partnership for mutual help, for the preservation of chastity, and for the transmission of life as something lower than a storm of emotion." And then he also says, "If the man is an emotional, gullible man, feed him on minor poets and fifth-rate novelists of the old school until you have made him believe that love is both irresistible and somehow intrinsically meritorious. This belief is not much help, I grant you, in producing casual unchastity, but it is an incomparable recipe for prolonged, noble, romantic, tragic adulteries, ending, if all goes well, in murders and suicides. Failing that, it can be used to steer the patient into a useful marriage. For marriage, though the enemy's invention, has its uses. There must be several young women in your patient's neighborhood who would render the Christian life intensely difficult to him, if only you could persuade him to marry one of them." So here I think Lewis has caught something about our modern sensibilities, are looking at the sexual attraction almost as the important factor in marriage, instead of looking at things like friendship and companionship and having children and providing a stable home and being helpmates to one another as things that you would want to spend time observing the attributes of the person that you're choosing for a mate. We have switched it over to the sexual attraction being the main and most important factor. So what though is most likely to last in a marriage? Is it that sexual excitement and attraction? Or is it going to be things like, are they good companions? Are they helpmates to you? Do they help you in the right direction? Do they have good qualities? Especially if you're planning on having children. Will they be good parents? How do they treat their family members? We nowadays go very quickly into relationships without having tested any of that beforehand. I'm going to link to a video that we did called Marriage, but what if you're not in love anymore? which was another one of Lewis's from his book Mere Christianity. And the second one, where it was called JW's Urged to Look Normal but Postpone Children Till Paradise, which was a Ray Franz video from his book In Search of Christian Freedom, where we discuss the fact that really natural desire for children is stifled or has been stifled by the Watchtower.